Hey everyone, and welcome back. You know how much we love to dig into all those fascinating corners of the tech world, right? Well, this time, we stumbled upon something called Coder like a Goddess. And oh boy, let me tell you, the name alone had us hooked.
I know, right? Coder like a goddess. It sounds kind of like a, almost mythical or something.
It does, but trust me, the ideas in this material are super practical and powerful too. It's like having a wise mentor guiding your every keystroke.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about, the technical stuff either. This material dives into the mindset and the impact you can make as a coder.
So let's get into it. The material outlines four key roles that a coder like a goddess embodies: problem solver, mentor, innovator, and support. I'm guessing you probably played all these roles at some point in your coding career, right?
Oh, definitely. And the interesting thing is that these roles aren't separate boxes,
Yeah.
They all overlap and feed into each other. Like when you're mentoring someone, you're naturally problem solving with them and coming up with creative solutions.
That's so true. Okay, so let's break down each role, starting with problem solver. That's at the core of coding, wouldn't you say? We're always facing challenges and figuring out how to solve them.
Absolutely. But a coder like a goddess takes it a step further. It's not just about fixing the bug at hand. It's about going deeper and understanding why that bug happened in the first place. It's about preventing it from coming back and haunting you later.
Like a detective, right? Finding those clues and figuring out how to prevent the crime from happening again.
Precisely. Now let's think about the mentor role. Having a good mentor can make all the difference, especially in the fast-paced world of tech. It's about sharing your knowledge and guiding others to grow.
It's not just about being a tech whiz, though, is it? A good mentor also creates a safe and supportive learning environment.
Absolutely. It's about empathy and communication.
Yeah.
Making people feel comfortable asking questions and making mistakes because, let's be real, we all make mistakes, especially when we're learning something new.
And speaking of pushing boundaries, let's talk about the innovator role. This is where things get really exciting. We're talking about those aha moments, those breakthroughs that shape the future of technology.
Think about it. The internet, smartphones, artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
A coder like a goddess isn't just writing code, they're reimagining possibilities and pushing the limits of what's possible with technology.
It's like they're writing the next chapter in the story of technology, and then we have the support role. It might not sound as glamorous, but it's so important. We've all been there, stuck on a problem and desperately searching for an answer.
And sometimes all it takes is a clear, patient explanation to make everything click. A coder like a goddess understands that providing support isn't just about solving the problem at hand. It's about empowering others to find their own solutions and to learn from each other.
It's like the saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
Exactly. So we've got these four amazing roles, but how do we put them into action? That's where the coder like a goddess task plan comes in.
Yeah, and this isn't just some random checklist. This plan is like a roadmap that guides you through the whole software development process, and it all begins with requirement gathering.
You could write the most brilliant code ever, but if it doesn't actually solve the right problem, it's useless. Requirement gathering is all about asking the right questions and really understanding what the user needs and what the project goals are.
It's like building a house. You wouldn't start laying bricks without a blueprint, would you?
Yeah.
That's where design and planning comes in. This is the stage where you pick your tools and technologies and map out a solid plan for your code.
It's about thinking through the architecture, the flow, the user experience, making sure that the structure is elegant and efficient.
And speaking of elegant, that brings us to the coding stage. But it's not just about getting the code to work, right? It's about writing code that is readable, maintainable, and, yeah, elegant.
Good code is almost like poetry. It's concise and expressive, and it's actually enjoyable to read. Have you ever looked back at your old code and been completely baffled by what you wrote?
All the time. It's like trying to decode some ancient language.
Exactly. Writing elegant code is like future-proofing your work. It makes it easier for others and even for your future self to understand and work with.
So we've got our beautiful code written. Now it's time for testing. And we're not just talking about running it once and hoping for the best. This is about rigorous testing, from testing individual components to seeing how everything works together.
Think of testing as a safety net for your code. You wouldn't launch a rocket without testing every single system, would you?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Okay, so our code has passed all the tests. It's time for documentation. This is where we leave those breadcrumbs for others, explaining how the code works, how to use it, and how to fix any problems.
Documentation is often overlooked, but it can be a lifesaver, especially when you're working on a team. Imagine someone needs to figure out a piece of code you wrote. Good documentation can save so much time and confusion.
Absolutely. So our code is tested, documented, and ready to go. That leads us to deployment. This is where we release our creation into the world where it can make a real impact.
It's like watching a ship set sail on its maiden voyage. So exciting to see all your hard work finally coming to life.
But the journey doesn't stop there, right? We can't just set it and forget it. We need maintenance.
Think of your code like a garden. You need to take care of it, make sure it keeps growing and thriving. That means keeping an eye on how it's performing, fixing any bugs, and adapting to new challenges.
So true. And finally, we have continuous improvement. This is all about always learning and growing, both as a coder and as a person.
The tech world is constantly changing, so it's crucial to stay curious, explore new things, and keep pushing your boundaries.
So there you have it, the coder like a goddess path. It's about embracing those 4 roles, mastering that task plan, and always striving for excellence.
And it leaves us with a question for you, dear listener. What kind of coder like a goddess will you be? What impact will you make on the world with your coding superpowers?
It's an exciting question to think about as you embark on your coding adventure. We've only scratched the surface today, but hopefully this deep dive has sparked some inspiration and given you a fresh perspective on the amazing power of coding. Until next time.